From affordable housing to community transformations.
Okay. Today we are going to see how the Statesville Housing Authority, in conjunction with its nonprofit, the Iredell Statesville Community Enrichment Corporation, has been shaping stronger neighborhoods for decades.
Welcome to this episode of Statesville Housing Authority Keys to Home. Hello, I'm Darbah Skaf, Executive Director and CEO of the Statesville Housing Authority and President of the Iredell Statesville Community Enrichment Corporation. Hello, Donald.
Hello, Darbah, and I am Donald Hicks. I am currently the Chief Financial Officer for the Statesville Housing Authority and our right arm, the Iredell Statesville Community Enrichment Corporation, our nonprofit.
So Donald, I don't want to say you're Donald, so because you're younger than me, but you've been at ISCEC from close to its inception, or at least to its transformation from SHA consultant to ISCEC, right?
Yeah.
So you know about how it got to where, let's just say probably 2009 when I came on board. So just give a brief history of how you met David Meacham, the former executive director, and other people within Statesville, including our current mayor, former board members, were able to constitute ISCEC and how we got where we are.
Sure. 1995 actually was when the board decided they needed to see if there was a different avenue to have money to come into the agency that wasn't directly tied to federal guidelines. That they saw a need that I guess public housing was restricted to, and basically the Department of Housing and Urban Development wasn't wanting to push forward with building future public housing developments. So they started the nonprofit, and many do not know that it actually was SHA Consulting in the very beginning. And it was SHA Consulting because we had a fee accountant and also other individuals within the housing authority that we would loan out to other housing authorities, to like Morganton Housing Authority, Brevard Housing Authority, Charleston Housing Authority, and others, and we would perform fee accounting work for those housing authorities, or capital fund management, or we would come in and consult for maintenance and even public housing operational management. So it was a good way for us to begin bringing in that additional income that was basically non-federal applied capital.
Yeah.
So the board of directors held a major staff retreat, and coming from that retreat, they saw, I guess, a need for the South Statesville. So at that time, David Meacham and the board worked with the city of Statesville to create a switch of a property deal. We used to be on Meeting Street, and so there was a vacant piece of property up on Allison Street, which is now our main campus. So we exchanged property. They gave us a little bit of cash for it, and so that's how we basically established that. But the community around it was what the board really was wanting to focus on. It was a blighted area. There was a lot of drug activity and other unsightly things.
We're gonna try to refer to that PowerPoint presentation that we have,
okay,
so that people can refer to some of those pictures of what it looked like. Some current Allison Summit, 110 West Allison Street, and then they can probably refer to that. Go back and look at that PowerPoint and see the before and the after of what the current Statesville Housing Authority office is located, and the current David J. Meacham Cultural Arts, Sports, and Technology campus is located, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So at that point, we worked really closely with, at the time, I think it was Piedmont Bank, to obtain a loan to establish the first 40 open market affordable housing units that would not be subsidized by HUD or any other type of funding. It's split between two properties. One's a 24 unit, one's a 16 unit, but they're 2-bedroom townhomes. And whenever we first constructed them, which was back in 2001, The rent, believe it or not, was $525 for a 2-bedroom
But it isn't
unit.
that much now. It's only $800
Right,
for a
it's-
2-bedroom, 1.5 townhouse.
Right. So I mean, you're looking at 25 years later, and you're still very reasonable.
Way below what 1-bedroom is for public housing.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. 1-bedroom is $915. I
$950 for
think.
public housing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the main course of ISCEC, is to create that affordability avenue without being tied to subsidized through the federal or state. It basically puts more power in this community's hands, because, and I think that's something that both you and I have discussed even after, is we try building those assets that the community is going to have for the future, not tied to any subsidies, so that way it remains that asset for the community and can benefit the community many years down the road. So.
I always say million years. I don't know who's going to be around dinosaurs. But if we were to, let's just look at this whole thing. When you said that, it brought a point to mind that I think I want to make known. A lot of people does not know that Statesville Housing Authority is the one and only first housing authority to purchase another housing authority, not merge, not consolidate. We purchased Mount Holly Housing Authority, which SHA managed through a management contract with the city of Mount Holly.
Right.
And in 2010, we were able to purchase that PHA and have it under our inventory. So when we talk about community asset, Statesville as a city of itself has investments in other jurisdictions. And that's very important. It's something that no one in America has ever done.
That's right.
And I think that's something that the board should be recognized for. And the city, Mayor Kute, worked very tirelessly during that time, and our previous retired attorney, David Bembo.
Yes.
Shout out to Mr. Bembo. Worked tirelessly on that. But so we had that going on, and we still, up to this day, still do some of those consulting activities, right, with other housing authorities,
We do.
and managing them, and so how do we do that? I want people to know, because I want you to tell them, like, what are some of the things we do, just bringing in non-federally restrained dollars into the agency outside of the 97% subsidy, 97 subsidies, after tax, 87% subsidies that we have to operate on.
Right. I guess the good part about it is, in the early years, we gained a good enough reputation with the Department of, at least the Greensboro office of HUD, that they felt comfortable with recommending us to what they would call or consider either trouble or beginnings of troubled agencies. And so we would basically come in and sit with the management, with the board. I think you specifically do a lot of the board trainings, and all of that actually is under consulting fees, to which is paid to the nonprofit, so that way we can further I guess everything that we're doing through the building. And whenever you look at it, and thankfully, and we're grateful for the city of Statesville, because back in that same time frame, I guess, they cooperated with us to actually administer the home funds. And I guess the key to it was they saw that they did not have the expertise or the time to take into it, so they knew and realized what we were, I guess, visualized what we were doing, especially over at where the office and the main campus is, because ultimately we constructed 53 new single-family homes for first-time home buyers.
Yeah. And I think the average, I have a mortgage, I did the mortgage analysis. I think the average mortgage there now in 2025 is about $725.
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
So it's very reasonable for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, single family standalone with a very, very, probably 1.5 lot. It's pretty big. It's not an acre, but it's close to probably 0.67.
It's a larger lot.
Yeah, it's very big lots. Yeah. And so to tie that back in, I want to go back to where, let's talk about a little bit of public housing and tie it together. But you mentioned home funds, and I think it's something that everybody wants to understand, home funds, right? So we know home funds is federal dollars from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. And we are in a consortium with 2 other counties, or 3 other counties?
Two other counties, and Iredell County is a non-participatory county. They're a member, but they do not participate in receiving any of the funds.
And you have to be a nonprofit in order to be a fiscal agent, which we are for her. So not only being a nonprofit, the dollars expended in home funds have to be spent by the fiscal agent of ISCEC, and then we are reimbursed. So it's not money that's given to us upfront that we have in the bank account that we spend any way we want to. So we spend our own money, then we submit the receipts to HUD, we get our money, then we submit the receipts to the city and get the city's contribution, right?
They're actually, because of the I guess the HUD's requirement, we do actually submit it to the city, and then they issue a check. They send the files in to the, because Concord actually is the consortium managing agent, and then they would cut the check out of HUD funds to reimburse the city, and at that point the city would release the check to the housing authority.
So it's a long process.
It's
so we spend
a lengthy
money.
process.
So in the last 15 years, when I was, a couple of months ago, I was trying to put some figures out. I was looking at, and I can only, I know you can go further than 15 years, but we want to make it short and sweet. I'm going to speak for the time I've been here. So for the last 15 years, we calculated that home funds from the federal government about $2.43 million, and the city of Statesville was $569,000, around about that, and ISCEC contribution about $4.3 million. But that's just for housing only, not commercial and other stuff we do, right? Okay.
No. Home funds actually is specifically for two things. You can go and you can rehabilitate homes, but we, I think, was one of the first groups that started pulling away from rehabilitating homes, because with the HUD guidelines, you basically had to go in and you spent all of that years on one home, because it's not an emergency repair. You can't just go in and say, oh, their air conditioner needs to be replaced. You actually have to bring that particular home up to the current Iredell County code standards. And that basic, because looking at it, it was an average of $95,000 per year that was received from I guess the home consortium to the city, which we took care of.
But $95,000 not gonna build a house.
No. And in fact, I mean, that's why we would bank like 1 or 2 years, so that way it would actually take 3 years, so we could build one house, and then by that time the fourth year would come in, and we could go ahead and build another. But that's where it took Iredell Statesville Community Enrichment Corporation borrowing on a, I think it was a, what do you call it, 6-month loan.
6 month, yeah.
To
construction loan.
Right, to help carry us through. Now, once we actually finished with the phase 2, 3, and 4, that's when we actually started going out and as opposed to building single-family for-sale homes, what was looking at providing some of those assets that we kind of talked about, the duplexes, the veterans home that has 5 beds for homeless veterans to transition.
Yeah, we've done over 200, almost 200 veterans from chronic homelessness to permanent housing. And our good friend John Galena told me that some of those veterans have even purchased homes. They're now homeowners. Right. Yeah. So that's very tremendous considering the home money is money that, even though the house is constructed, ISCEC still have to pay for its maintenance and all of its management's capital improvement needs.
Well, we actually still put ISCEC money into the home. The home funds didn't cover the entire rehabilitation. But the good part about it is we really found a good partner with Fifth Street Ministries who was assisting, I guess, veterans, but knew that the veterans were having a difficult time in the setting of I guess the shelter,
yeah.
Right? So they needed that kind of privatized, and Pete Miletus was very huge at the time in helping us get that started. I think that was something that was dear to his heart.
Pete. Yeah. He was amazing. He and Vivian, good friends of ours. So we did that, and we're looking at some of the things we've done with ISCEC, the 40 open markets home. Yep. The veterans facility, and one thing I'm so proud of, a lot of people don't know, is the reentry. We have 4 reentry transitional homes. I'm not going to tell people where they are. Nope. I never do, but they're right in the community. So you're not going to even know the difference between a reentry home and a $5,000, $6,000 house around the same area. Right? It looks exactly the same. A+, granite countertops, everything to the pristine.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we I guess as an explanation, we used a program through HUD, which was the Section 18 program, which allowed us to take scattered sites within public housing that was more difficult, basically, for our managers to manage. And with their permission and blessing, we were able to...
permission and blessing.
Yes.
Okay. Not the managers.
No. To transfer that property to the nonprofit, which basically allows us to house those individuals transitioning from prison. And the good part, there's 8 bedrooms in those 4 units. And at our last meeting, all of them are still occupied. And over the past 2.5, 3 years, there's been very limited, if any, police activity.
No criminal activity,
there.
yeah.
So
we always say, if you change the environment and encourage a different mindset, the perception changes, and the individual, if you're lucky and by God's grace, you probably can come out better.
Yes.
It's all about investing, like you say, investing into the community. And we've done the 5 bedroom, like you said, 5 bedroom. My Liberian is kicking, y'all. 5-bedroom transitional home, 20 single family duplexes. We have the 2 apartment communities, West and Fox Avenue. We've done the commercial along Shelton Avenue. Ladies and gentlemen, we're the one that brought in the Dollar General at the Shelton Avenue. We're the one that brought in the Vance Auto Park at the Shelton Avenue. All of the pavement from McElwee, the old Party House, all the way to Amity Hero on the right side, excluding Steve Johnson and Zamani, we own that whole side. We brought in the Family Dollar. We invest. We give discounts to nonprofits. Contentra Health, the family health system.
Was the major.
It was a major one. I Care, where Brian Duncan is.
With the Old Skills Center.
With Old Skills Center. We own those facilities, and we lease those for a very minimal lease so that we can keep those nonprofits in the community. We have a great partnership with those, right?
Correct. That's very good for both of us. I mean, thankfully, especially where iCare is at, the building's paid for, which actually gives us a little bit better of a discount that we can give to iCare to keep them in such a large facility. I think it was 5,500 square feet.
5,500 square feet. And the rent is well under $2,000.
Right.
It's very inexpensive.
It's a great
But then
asset
with contributions with the Red Cross, with Yokefeller for many years, we waived several leases during the COVID time so they can be able to get back into work. We've helped create a beauty shop on the south side. We purchased all of the supplies for the beauty equipment to help them start. We assisted a young African-American man to start a car washing business. That didn't turn out to be a car washing, but we dealt with that internally and were able to further those engagements. But I think one thing people don't really know is the other impact, the economic impact, jobs. How many jobs do you think we've done in Statesville so far?
Oh, you're the good one.
I think the last time I checked, about 6,000 jobs over.
With everything between the 2 agencies, yes.
Yeah, and then we did $800,000 in down payment assistance through ISCEC. And as far as family development of the park, you're the artist. So that's family development, the park. We talk about the Don't Gotta Live It grant and some of the stuff going on in the park.
Yeah, and I guess looking at it, whenever I first applied at the Housing Authority, and I think through the many interviews that we had, the last one that I was there, I was in the lobby, and it was the 2 girls, young girls that was with the mom. It is basically what was tugging at the heartstrings, because it's like they cannot help the situation that they're in. But that's basically what made me feel this is the agent. This is where I need to be. And 28 years later, I'm very thankful to be there. And so the park actually was very, especially the skate park piece was very
dear to you.
Yes, it was to create a facility where youth can actually come and actually be themselves. I think Statesville was needed that for quite some time.
And look, you had Christian. Everything's happened for a reason, though.
It did.
Because we had this space. It was a church in there.
It was.
We negotiated. We purchased the other church on Winston Avenue, the church right next to the Dollar General and the parsonage. And so we moved that other church there for very minimal rent, too. And we decided to make that skip on. Christian just happened to be our partner, Christian, the young handsome skateboarder that's in town, very vivacious young man, hardworking, very hardworking, working with all the kids. And then we did the golf, the putt-putt, the basketball, pickleball, tennis, and the older kids' playground, the younger kids' playground. We're hoping we're going to do the effort if we can come up with the money to do that. But we're also focusing on the old Priority House right next to it to do the auditorium, the classroom, and maybe some musical areas up in the front.
Correct.
We were hoping to come up with at least another $3 million to get that done, $3.5 million to get that done. So we're going to be coming out begging people for money. I mean, I'm good at begging, so we're going to do that. But overall, SHA has 734 vouchers and 500 and help me out here. I was in a car accident. 535 public housing. And we also, like we're talking in the beginning about consulting, we have been both consulting to several housing authorities, North and South Carolina, and we do make money that way also. And so give us like a summary of overall the financial health, because I know you're a very honest person. Everybody still know you're very honest, right? So there's the overall health of where you think the housing authority is, and let's talk quickly about the other two projects we have coming out: the homeless community, and the multiplex. If we decide to go that route, all the other condominiums.
Okay. One quick note. I mean, yes. I mean, back to your first question. For both the housing authority and the nonprofit, thankfully, sometimes you don't think of government as being fiscally responsible. But that's what's kept us strong throughout all these years, and we are very solid. We make sure that we don't overextend ourselves through the debt. I mean, the nonprofit does have debt, but as long as we can make the payment and keep the upkeep, we're fine. But I think a lot of people don't understand too is the 50-some homes that we constructed, there were only 8 of those homes that were totally designated to individuals who were coming out of both public housing and the Housing Choice Voucher Program. And that was because we used a special a piece of funds through the federal funding on that. So only those 8 were basically tied to that. The rest of them were open to open market and anybody who would want to come in to our homeownership program and go through the process to so that way they could go and they would be pre-qualified for those first home buyers. So I think that's something to stress. It's not just public housing or voucher individuals living in those homes. There's a good mixture of individuals. I mean, there's people who came out of the apartment complexes. The property manager worked with them to get them in there.
So we overall, just to summarize everything, ISCEC is a private, nonprofit instrumentality to the Statesville Housing Authority. Basically, the Housing Authority is the parent, and ISCEC is like the child.
Correct.
To go out and do stuff and create monies and dollars that are not federally tied, that is fungible, that we can do any actions that the board deem necessary and approve to better the community.
Correct. Within our
mission
qualifications of the IRS. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, I forgot the IRS. You can't forget the IRS. Sorry, IRS.
And that's what we were formed for, is anything housing related or even community based related, whether it be individual or family, as long as it's within those guidelines. And that's
so we did our debt service, because I like transparency. So I think our debt service, when I did the last calculation, around about like $2.3 million.
Right. No.
And when I did the asset calculation, I was looking at right around about $40 million in everything. So ISCEC has $38 million of asset. And ISCEC is the second biggest landowner in town, second to the city of Statesville as far as residential. We're the highest utility payer in town, because we pay all of our citizens' water bill, and we pay the light bills up front, and provided the tenants with utility allowances. And so we're heavily invested. We've done over $178,000 in taxes to the city of Statesville.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one thing people don't. I mean, it's like you're a government or a nonprofit, you don't pay taxes. Yes, we pay penny of taxes to Iredell County and the city of Statesville. That's true.
So going forward, we're so happy I was able to come here today and clear out some stuff to the city, communicate what we've been doing at ISCEC and SHA. I couldn't go in all the details of everything we've done because I could have been me all day today. But our team, our staff, the trust that we get from our board, our partnership with the mayor of Statesville, the new mayor of Statesville. Yep. I mean, Mr. Hendricks worked with Piedmont Bank, who got most of the stuff. Yes. Yep. Thank you all for this day. We appreciate you coming to watch us today and learn from us, and that we, as we communicate what we've done at Statesville Housing Authority and ISCEC. I'm a little nervous, but thank you all. Thank you, Donald. We just love Statesville. We love you all so much. God bless you. Support us, support the young people in housing. Help someone else. God gave you enough just so you can be able to help someone else. We love you. Bye-bye.
See you.